Well, here we are. This is our first full week together as we travel on the road to Easter. And this is all centered on revealing. And so being people who can allow ourselves to have new truths be revealed in whatever way they need to. And a really huge piece, I think of the blind Bartimaeus and his talking to Jesus and saying, Rabbi, I want to see. I want to see. And that's what I hope for us this week, is that we'll just be people who want to see. And so whatever you need out of this particular week, I hope that you can get. But I do hope that it does open new truths up that maybe prompt us to consider where we fit in the story. And our first reaction to anything hard, typically as humans, is denial. And just anything we can do, just say, that's not me, or that's not us. And there's ways to do that. And that's minimizing, it's justifying, it's rationalizing. It is plain old, flat out, that's not true at all. And I just want to guard us against that this week, because in revealing and in the spirit of Lent, a softness and an openness is crucial. And the denial is really dangerous, especially when we're talking about power. And that's one of the reasons why so many systems don't change, is because everyone is so resistant to really doing some of that inner work to really look at it and examine it. And so this week, we're going to take a pretty deep dive into some realities that exist in our culture that come from our history, and they're in us and they're at play at all times in different ways, and just to see where we fit in. I love what James Baldwin says, not every reality that's faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed without facing it. And so that's really what this week is about, is just breaking out of denial and whatever that looks like, or maybe being open in new ways to new things and seeing what emerges. It makes me think of the blind Bartimaeus and saying to Jesus, I want to see. I want to see. And I can say in my own story, I want to see. I want to keep seeing the things that I did not see before. And a little piece of my story is that I was raised by a single mom with not very much money, struggling to keep the lights on. My dad is a lifelong alcoholic and addict. And so I was one of the first people in my family to go to college. My dad had a 9th grade education. My mom did get her degree after I did. But I was under-resourced, and I fought to get where I was. And at the same time, it wasn't until many years later that I realized my whiteness, the ability that I did have once I was educated, that I got married and had children and own a home and have insurance. Like, those things didn't really occur to me as things that naturally happened in a system that values white supremacy, Christian supremacy, married supremacy, straight supremacy. Some of these things that are really embedded is that we're better when we are those things. And I didn't see how it wasn't all about my bootstraps. And so bootstraps mentality is really deep in Christian culture. And so a piece of this week is just to recognize just how deep the reality of people being over and under another systemically has caused harm. And especially as Christians, we have a really bad history of what we've done to each other. And we currently have a really bad history and practice that's now, in that we are the ones who often claim and hold to that we're better than everybody else. And this supremacist logic is really important to unpack. And my friend Melvin Bray, who has amazing work in the 12 steps truth and transformation model, which are modified 12 steps that are really for anti-oppression work and greater equity, practicing greater equity, which is something we talk about this week and in other places throughout the material, is really central, is that those things that I named before in my own story of just the reality of male supremacy, Christian supremacy, straight supremacy, economic supremacy, white supremacy, those lies are embedded in us. And they started from way back when in, 1452 with the doctrine of discovery, and even before then in different ways. But certainly that was the start of anybody across the globe that wasn't like us needed to be destroyed. And so that remnant is alive and well today. It is. It's also in the founding of the United States. Some of you are not from the United States who are watching this and participating, but in the United States, the founding of our country, and in every country across the globe, there is some degree of this, especially related to Christian colonization. And so just looking at these things, being willing to recognize our privilege, to talk about how tangled unhealthy supremacist logic really is in us, to consider areas of patriarchy and intersections in terms of power is just really crucial this week. And I just always want to say, as we're engaging, is just stay open. And that I want to see, coming back on those words, like I want to see more today than I saw yesterday. And 5 years from now, I certainly want to see far more than I saw today. And I think that is a huge piece of engaging with this material, is really being open to what we need to see. So as we do, some of the practices and actions and reflections are really centered on being more honest about it and noticing where we maybe have not looked at some issues of power and privilege as clearly, or maybe we have, but maybe today in our current political environment where we are exactly in this moment, exactly today, how it's different. And that's what exactly I'm trying to do also, is just really think for today, where am I blinded? Where am I maybe don't have the capacity to see, but I know I want to see. So God, help us see. I'll look forward to being with you next week.